This video is about to get very surgical. I want y'all to think about something for a second, okay? Think about Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, the way they cover sports. It's all detailed. There's advanced analytics to show you how nice somebody is on the court or in the field or in the diamond, right? They got all these different things to show you how busy these guys get. Why don't we have that in hip hop? When you start talking about elite level lyricists, we're talking about people who are transcending writing. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are advancing the art form by showing different levels, getting into different pockets, referencing things in ways people never thought of. You see what I'm saying? So because of that, we got this new series called The Science.
Not so much to riddle, at least rhyme to the syllable. I keep tracks that make an A-rap beat clap. With no hands, I chop these roads off truly yours. G-rap, actual fact, relax.
And we kicking this thing off with MF Doom's Strange Ways. Now, the reason why I picked this song is because I think it's extremely relevant to what is going on today. Now, the advanced analytic we're going to use is VPB, which stands for value per bar. Now, if you be on my Twitch streams, y'all have already heard me use this term. And basically what it is within your 16, 24, however long your verse is, how many of those bars provided value to the listener? In order for y'all to understand how this advanced analytic is gonna work, I gotta explain to y'all how a certain advanced analytic works in the NBA. So this is the NBA true shooting percentage, and it measures scoring efficiency by combining 2-pointers, 3-pointers, and free throws into one statistic, showing points per shot attempt with elite players often above 60%. So notice it's saying points per shot attempt. And league average is around 55 to 57%, calculated by total points divided by 2 field goal attempts plus 0.44 free throw attempts. It's a superior metric to standard shooting percentage as it weights different shots appropriately, reflecting of players' overall scoring ability. So instead of 2-pointers, 3-pointers, and free throws being separate, they put them all in one statistic. And this is a mathematical equation for how they come up with these percentages. VPB is a little different, right? True shooting percentage is based off the threes, the twos, and the free throws. Well, VPB is based off of reacting, reflecting, or rewinding. So if a bar makes you reflect, if a bar makes you rewind, or if a bar makes you react, this is how you're scoring in your value per bar advanced analytics. The very first verse we're gonna use is MF Doom's second verse on Strange Ways. Now remember, reflect, react, rewind. So while you listening to this verse, I got a little edit for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'll listen to it too. But while you listening to this verse, I want y'all to keep those 3 things to mind and try to put a score together yourself, all right? Check this out.
They pray 4 times a day, they pray 5. Who ways is strange when it's time to survive? Some will go of their own free will to die. Others take them with you when they blow sky high. What's the difference? All you get is lost children while the bosses sit up behind the desk. It costs billions to blast humans in half into calves and arms. Only one side is allowed to have bombs. It's like making a soldier drop his weapon, shooting them and telling them to get to stepping. Obviously, they came to portion up his fortune. Sounds to me like that old robbery extortion. Same game. You can't reform them.
Now that we've heard the verse, let's break down the verse and then do the math to come up with our final VPB percentage. They pray 4 times a day, they pray 5. Who ways is strange when it's time to survive? Some will go of their own free will to die. Others take them with you when they blow sky high. Now, all 4 of these bars meet the criteria of reflection, and that is your best friend in VPB. How much can you make somebody reflect or think with your bars? And he's talking about a lot of deep stuff right there, bro. We talking about religion. We talking about the differences in religion and how that creates differences in the everyday civilian. And not only that, how it's used to justify wars, how it's used to justify dominating people, eliminating people, removing entire regimes based on these ideologies that are tied to religion. When he says stuff like, who ways is strange when it's time to survive, who ways are we discrediting, pointing at when it's time to decide what we're going to do in this time of war, right? Some will go of their own free will to die. Others take them with you when they blow sky high. This is showing how there are differences in these religions, but not really. Because on one side, you're going to have people who are willing to go to their own death. Like when you talk about the persecution of Christians and how maintaining that faith in God and Jesus or whatever all the way to your persecution is a sign of honor, right? That's one thing. But on the other side, on the side of honor, they view it as me taking myself out and taking you with me is a sign of honor. And that's really a lot of the small differences when it comes to these religions. But all of these codes of honor or whatever are typically used to push the agenda of somebody above these people. As of right now, out of 12 bars, 4 bars have made me reflect. 2 bars have made me react. What's the difference? All you get is lost children while the bosses sit up behind the desk. It costs billions to blast humans in half into calves and arms. Only one side is allowed to have bombs. Still, all of these bars are meeting the requirements for reflection. When he talks about what's the difference between these religions and their ideologies, when at the end of the day, all you're going to get is children that die over these disagreements, while the people who are sending these people out to go do these orders are sitting up behind these desks throwing money out there in order to push their empires. And this don't just apply, even if we apply this to our country, it's the same thing. And I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying you're your own person, okay? Your own person. But what I'm saying is, even when you look at the Democrats and the Republicans, it don't matter who's in office. There's a whole regime or whatever of people out there paying the price for whoever gets in office. It don't matter who it is. And from that perspective, what is the difference? At the end of the day, it costs billions to blast humans in half in the calves and arms, and only one side is allowed to have bombs. As of right now, out of 12 bars, 8 bars have made me reflect. 3 bars have made me react. It's like making a soldier drop his weapon, shooting them, and telling them to get the step in. Obviously, they came to portion up his fortune. Sounds to me like that old robbery extortion. Now, all 4 of these bars meet the criteria for reflection too. And the crazy thing is, this song came out in 2004, but it applies to every single presidency since 2004. George Bush, Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, every single presidency. Obviously, they came to portion up his fortune. Sounds to me like the old robbery extortion. You can literally apply that to Venezuela right now. What we just did in Venezuela, you can apply that to Venezuela right now. We pulled up, took their president, brought him over here, and it was for oil. It was for oil. And I know there's a lot more to it, but oil. Oil. That's something we've been hearing since how long? Since I've been alive, I've been hearing about our presidents going to these countries to steal oil or to stop them from building currencies or to stop them from becoming independent of the dollar. And it didn't matter if it was a dude wearing blue and sounding all nice or if it was a Republican being brash. It didn't matter. Regardless, we are still doing this to everybody. And the fact that this applies today, it should tell you something. Now we got to do the math. And what we're going to do is use the true shooting calculator in order to do this math. And clearly this is VPB. So reflection is going to get you the most points. So every time you make somebody reflect, that's 3 points. In that case, MF Doom put up a generational verse because the entire verse made you reflect. So there's 12 lines in the verse. He made us reflect 12 times. So 12 times 3 will be 36. Now, reaction is going to be 2 points. Now, some people might be saying reaction should be more, but think about it. When you at a game or a basketball game and somebody windmill dunk, and the crowd go crazy, it's still only 2 points. So that's what we're going to do for reaction. And he made us react 4 times. So 4 times 2 is 8. We didn't do rewind, which would be free throws, because I've listened to the song 100 million times. So that's going to be 0. So right now we're looking at 36 plus 8, which is 44. Okay? Now enter field goal attempts, which is how many lines are in the song or in the verse. That would be 12. We already know we don't got no free throws because we didn't rewind. Now, what is MF Doom's overall VPB in this verse? Let's check it out. Oh, hold on. 0. 183.33. Now, this obviously ain't going to look just like the NBA because this is rap, boom, boom. But based off this, that's got to be high as hell. 183.33 has got to be crazy high. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the whole verse made us reflect. We are going to reward reflection because really that's what hip hop should be about. So we're looking at 183.33. Hey, I appreciate y'all for watching. For anybody who stayed to the end, you see what I'm saying? We gonna really take this to another level too. This ain't how it's gonna be every time we do this. I got big plans for this. You feel what I'm saying? A bunch of advanced analytics and all types of stuff. So shout out to anybody that's real hip-hop heads that really like the science of breaking this stuff down. We're going to really do our best to try to turn this into something where, you know, we can grade verses the same way they grade NBA players, the same way they grade advanced analytics in sports, because hip-hop is that valuable. It's that important. These guys are transcending they're transcending minds out here, changing perspectives out here. And let this be a lesson. Value within the verse is important. Making people reflect in your verses is extremely important, and that should be the standard, in my opinion. That should be the standard for what this thing is. But yeah, MF Doom with 183.33, and expect more. You feel what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. I'm gonna catch y'all, man.